Hello, hello. All right, today's topic comes from one of my listeners, Star, who asked this great question, and one that I think will be so fun to share. If you have ever wondered, how do you navigate working remotely when you are traveling, maybe when you are pursuing that digital nomad life, maybe you're a content writer who's writing from anywhere, or you're starting your own business, maybe you're just on the road for summer. I'm going to share with you my top 3 tips for working remotely. And these are things that I have learned from years working as a digital nomad overseas in Europe and in South America. They're things that I've learned from running my own business where I do have location independence to work from anywhere. And so I've had to really structure my days to still be productive, right? But get to go out and feel like I'm making the most of whatever city that I'm in. So if you don't know me yet, my name is Jessica Johnson, and I mentor writers in how to become freelance content writers and go build profitable businesses. So if you are just starting out in the world of writing, I can teach you how to write and how to learn content strategy. And then I can also teach you the business building side. And that's based on everything that I've learned in building a content agency, in building my own freelance business, and having been on the inside of corporate America, hiring writers, and then on the outside, having to actually go and test what works to build a business myself. All right. So I'm going to bring all that to the table for you today, and I hope it's really helpful and serves you. So the first thing that really, really helps if you are working remotely or on the road is to stick to some kind of work schedule. So for example, for me, I've always been pretty consistent around that 9 to 5 schedule. So it might shift a little bit depending on the time zone or what's going on, week to week. But I pretty much am always Monday through Friday, 9-ish to 5-ish working, right? Like I'm working on my writing projects, I'm interfacing with clients, I'm taking calls, I'm sending edits in, things like that. And what that really does is it just helps you feel like it's not this Groundhog Day on vacation of never having any set schedule, right? It becomes really hard to work if you get out of your routine. And so for me, I really, really enjoy evenings and weekends as my time where I can go and sightsee and explore and see the world around me. But then during the day, I carve that time out to really get my work done and be as efficient as possible so I can fully relax on weekends and evenings, and I can go to dinner and I can go see the tourist activities and not be worrying because I didn't get done what I needed to during the week. So that's the first thing, is like, even if you are just taking, a long weekend, it just helps if you have Thursday and Friday to kind of work in the hotel or in your Airbnb or at a cute coffee shop or co-working space. It can feel really good to be productive for that time and then fully enjoy your time off after that, right? So that's kind of the first thing that I always think about. And your hours can be different. So as my business has shifted, it hasn't always been this 8 to 9 hour, or sometimes even more in the beginning. It might be less, but whatever it is for you, go ahead and designate what hours do feel like your best working hours. Maybe it's morning, maybe it's around lunchtime at a coffee shop, maybe it's afternoon or once everyone's gone to bed. And whatever it is, just be consistent with that work schedule. All right. So that's the first thing, stick to a schedule. The second thing is to definitely plan activities on those evenings and weekends, and maybe even on a Friday, right? Like maybe even take a day off every single week or once in a while if you can get your work done efficiently on the other days. What this really helps with is making sure you're still getting out and seeing a place that's around you. Right. So, for example, when I was working in Barcelona, I would go to a co-working office Monday through Friday. And then I would go in the evenings and I would go to the tapas restaurants, or my husband and I would go and do like an Airbnb experience or some kind of tour around town. We might even, do like the afternoons doing that. Right. But we were working during the day so that the evenings could be our kind of fun time to go and explore. And then same for the weekends. So that's when we would really go and see all the tourist activities and attractions. And we would take the full weekend off to really just to the most that we could see as much as we could see. Now, this is different. The caveat that I'll give is this is a little different if you are truly on vacation, right? Like this is really speaking to people who are trying to do the dance of working and living in a place. When I'm on vacation, I'm really on vacation and I try and set that boundary. And I might have to check an email here and there or just make sure things keep moving, make sure there's no issues and all my clients are fully served. But when I'm on vacation, I try and separate that. So this is really for those times when you are out in the world trying to get your work done. All right. And that's when I really recommend you have your evenings or your weekends to the fullest. A third thing that really helps and it speaks to that note, is one of the practices that I've had forever that really, really helps me and hopefully can help you too, is every day at the start of my day, I make a list of what I want to get done that day. And for me, this is really helpful because I do make a pretty robust list, but my thinking is if I can get through that list sooner, then I can end my day a little sooner. So it really teaches me to work very efficiently and to try and even get through a few main things by lunch, right? Or a few main things by afternoon. And if I can get through that list sooner, then I can go out and go explore a little bit sooner. And so that really helps me when it comes to evenings, that if you get done by 3 p.m., maybe you get out a little bit early and you go see something at 3 p.m., right? Or if you get your work done Monday through Thursday, and that was what you really set out to do for the week, maybe you can then take Friday off and you can go do a little extra sightseeing. So those things really kind of help me do the balance. And then one that I would recommend, regardless of whether you're working remotely or wherever you're working, is to play with your natural rhythms and energy levels. So, for example, for me, I really try and get the hardest things done earliest in the day because I just know then it's not going to be hanging over my head, that I'm not going to be dabbling with, or risking my energy failing me around 2 p.m. I'm not going to get distracted. Something else isn't going to come into my day. So that is another thing that really serves me is instead of shying away from that gnarly thing on your to-do list, doing that first in the day, because you would just be amazed how fast you get through the rest of your list once that thing is done. It's like almost having it on your list and hanging over your head is so much worse than just getting it out of the way, because all of a sudden you will have all this leftover energy for those small tasks that you can just knock off one after the other. And you'll be so amazed how you got through like 10 things that day. All right. But you have to do the first hardest one, most important one first. And that'll really move your business forward as well. All right. So those are things that help me. I would be curious to hear what helps you as well. But for me, I think the biggest things would be sticking to some kind of work schedule, and you determine what that is, when it is, how long it is, but really having that be a consistent part of your work week. So you feel like when you travel, you aren't losing momentum and you aren't really giving up any work days. You're just working from somewhere else. I think the second thing is planning those activities, evenings and weekends, and really making the most of them, right? Like you worked hard all week to be able to have a few days off or a few hours off in the evenings. So get out and go feel like you went and saw the place that you're in. Then you're not going to feel like you just worked through an experience somewhere, but you're going to feel like you really made the most of it. So look for those dinners, for those tours, activities, tourist attractions, and go fit as many as you can in on the nights and weekends, and you'll wake up feeling so fulfilled for work the next day as well. The other thing is to then also make a list when you start your day of what you can get through. Try and list what you'd really get through in a full, like one of your best days, and then race the clock to get through it and reward yourself if you do. Go out and get a coffee a little early, go see another part of town, go on a walk somewhere different. And that can really help just really create good habits around working efficiently and being streamlined and productive when you are working, so that you can go and enjoy your life and wherever you are when you're not working. If you're curious about a career or business where you could work from anywhere, I'll definitely include in the notes below a link to a copywriter starter kit for anyone who's curious about what steps you'd even take to get started. And in there, you can find out more about my program, which is where I teach on one part people how to write and learn content strategy. And then as they're learning that, they're also learning the business building side of how to get clients and pitch and do all the businessy type of things, right? To scale a profitable freelance business that gives you the freedom to work from anywhere as your own boss with total schedule freedom. So again, I'll share more of those below this. So check that out. But I hope these give you some ideas for the next time you are on the road, being able to do your job working from anywhere, and just also remaining productive for your clients, for yourself, and for your ability to go out and then make the most of wherever you are.